First of all, hi, Reggie Whitley here, the Visionary Brand Coach, and I'm also the owner of Crestview Financial Solutions, where I am a tax pro and more. So excited that you're watching this tutorial, and I did it, of course, with you tax preparers in mind. This tutorial is going to walk you through how to use Jotforms and the free version, the free plan of Jotforms to build out your workflow that's going to take you from the starting point, which is the intake form, all the way down to the end, which is even after the engagement letter, and it's going to make your preparation automations so smooth for this upcoming tax season. So what I'm going to do starting off is I'm going to show you mine, and then I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do it. After I walk you through step by step of how to make your own, I'm going to do it in a way where you can literally follow me. If you put me on your TV, you put me on your phone, on your tablet, whatever, you can follow along and do it yourself as I'm doing it. I'm also going to give you a free ebook. I'm going to show you exactly how to get it in the end. It's the ebook that I made just for this, and it literally is the steps to take to do exactly what I have done. It's 14 steps, and I make it simple by doing the ebook and this video, because you are not in this alone. Okay, so at the beginning of my Jotform, and this is something that you will have to have done on your own, you have to have your Jotform prepared with your intake, your client intake form. You have to have that done. I'm not going to go over how to do that in this particular video because that's not the topic for today. But you have to have that done in Jotform because, again, that is the starting point of this whole thing. Now, when a client comes in and they do their intake form online, they're going to be able to hit submit. And once they hit submit, their folder, although their uploads and their intake form, is going to go to a specific Google Drive folder. Now, you can do this with Google Drive. You can do this with Dropbox and more. I'll show you when we get there as far as the walkthrough goes. Now, when it goes into that drive, it's going to go into a specific folder, which I have named Crestview Financial Solutions, just because that's the name of my tax business. And in that folder, Jotform is going to automatically create a new folder inside of that folder with the with the primary's name. So you'll have everything in place right there, because it's always good practice, of course, to not just have everything saved in Jotform or in whatever it is that you use to do the intake. It's always good to have it saved in the cloud, and also some people like to save it as a backup on your external hard drive. Some people still do make copies and print and all of that. But that's the first step. After that, they're going to automatically get an email that's going to let them know, hey, you're in, and here's what's next. Because, of course, our clients want to know, after I do my intake form, what do I need to do next? Now, I'm going to be very honest. I don't want people to call my phone. I'm a virtual tax preparer as far as Crestview goes, and I would like to cut down on phone calls that I get. So as soon as they submit their intake form, they're going to get the email that's going to say, here's what's next, here's what to expect, and even to let them know, hey, this is the link, and this is going to be a customized link. I'll show you how. That's going to tell them how to edit their intake that they've already done. When they click it, it'll take them back to the exact intake form that they did with all of their information filled out, and they'll be able to edit from there. So very simple. After that happens, I have set it to where my team, so me, but you can set it to where anyone on your team will get an email to let them know, hey, reach out, look at the intake, see if we needed more information, so we'll know how to proceed. Once we know how to proceed, that person, whether it's you or a team member, will be able to either say good as is, which is how I just worded mine, intake is good as is, or more info needed. This is because we've done the approval step for you or your team. If it's good as is, they submitted everything in their intake, we don't need any more information, I'll just click intake good as is, and they'll get another email that just lets them know, hey, it's just another update. We've gotten your information. Thanks so much for submitting. Here's what's next. So that's to let them know we're still moving. Things are still going. You know, we're everything is good on our end. The reason that we want to do this is because if you notice, the previous email did say that they will hear back within 24 to 48 business hours. So the hear back is technically we're good to go. Now, if they still have information that is missing, when you click deny or need more info here on this step, it's gonna, and this may sound Greek to you guys, but it's gonna make sense when I go in and build. When they click need more info or deny here, Jotform is set. We're gonna set it to where you have to actually type out what information or what documentations are needed. When you type that out, Jotform is gonna create this email based on the template that we're gonna do together today. It's going to put their name there. Thanks for submitting your intake form and documents. We notice that some things are missing, and your notes that you type out are going to go under what's missing. So as you can see, you don't have to open up your email or anything. You don't have to send them an email personally. All of it's going to be right here in Jotform, and it's going to be step by step automated for you to make life so much easier, so much so that they'll have a link to add missing forms or missing files, excuse me. Now, once they do that, you'll get an email once they submit, and then you'll be able to then say, we're good to go. We're going to come down. Some tax professionals like to do estimates. I did this step for those who do like estimates. If that is not so for your tax team, you can change this to a made communication or made contact if you talk to them before you send the engagement letter or whatever. But for now, I have the estimate. That's to say that you gave them a call to let them know, and they said, hey, thumbs up, I want to go with you, and I'm going to let you do my taxes. You can proceed. Once you get that thumbs up from them, you'll give Jotform a thumbs up, and it's going to send them an engagement letter. If they say thumbs down, no, don't proceed, don't pass go, do not collect $200, I don't want to go with you and your company, then you'll say estimate not approved, and it'll just end. It'll just make sure that we put a close to the workflow for that particular client, and it's going to end. But should they want to continue, they'll automatically get an intake and engagement letter that they can sign directly through Jotform. You don't need Google, DocuSign, DigiSign, all of those. You can have them to sign right in Jotform. And once Jotform receives the signature, it'll give you an email, you or your team, whoever you set this for, to say, hey, got that signature, we're good to go. And once it says, once you approve of that signature, you make sure they didn't sign Donald Duck, and you see that they actually signed their name, you'll just give Jotform a thumbs up so that Jotform can then send them an email that just says, thanks for signing, we'll take it from here. And again, what is next to come. After that, you'll just be able to let well, I tell you, before we get there, I did this recently. I recently added this step, and I'm going to explain it more later, but it's to do a survey, and then I have a survey done in Jotform so that the client can let us know how they liked everything. And then, bam, once you see that the IRS has approved their taxes, you'll be able to tell Jotform approved so that they can get or accept it, and they'll get the email that says your tax return has been accepted. Again, what happens next, how they can reach out to the IRS via the site to know where's my refund, tell them about, if you owe taxes, how they can make payments, and give them a little bit of information about state returns, because of course we cannot go into detail about that in here because every state is different. And then once all of that is done, they get that email, it automatically closes out. So this will really keep you from having to do a lot of copying and pasting, re-emailing, following up, remembering where did I leave off with this person, this solves that. So let's go ahead and build it together. Okay, so let's get started with the way to go about doing this. Now, I will be very honest with you. I have no clue what I've said for the last 10 minutes. That was like 3 days ago. It's a whole new day, and I didn't feel like going back and watching those last 10 minutes. So I know I did a walkthrough of exactly how the workflow would look, and that is well and good. So hopefully I don't repeat myself over here, but I just want you to know if I repeat myself exactly why. So let's get started. On the right side, you will see the blueprint. We're going to walk through it together based on the blueprint. You probably have had your opportunity to go ahead and get yours already. You've probably even printed it out. Who knows? But that would be amazing for you to follow along with me. And we're starting on page 7, right? Okay, so let's go over here. We're going to click create. And we're creating a workflow. Now, I've looked up and down, high and low, roundabout, ask ChatGPT, ask other people, ask even Jotform. I don't think I can make this into a template. I would love it if I could, and it would already be built out for you, but I haven't been able to figure that out. So we're starting from scratch. As you can see, when you start from scratch, it goes ahead and gives you the starting point. It gives you number 1, which is the form. You have to start these off with the form. So you're going to click complete setting. And I already have my intake form here. I did a mock, or I had to do a workaround to duplicate my intake form to do this teaching. But you're going to click whatever your intake form is. If you already have a workflow connected to that intake form, you're not going to be able to connect it to this one. You can only have one workflow per form. Right? You can only have one workflow per form. So if your Jotform intake form is not here, it's probably already connected to a workflow. You have to get that worked out, delete that other workflow and start over. So you're going to click on your intake form and bam, you're already done with step 1. You see how easy that was? If you want to edit your form, you can do it from here. Of course, if you edit it from the home page, it will edit here as well because it's all one thing. But this lets Jotform know whenever somebody fulfills your intake form, it's going to activate this workflow and get things started for you. You're going to notice that today is going to be a lot of repetition. When you get the rhythm, when you get the hang of it, it's super simple. You just have to know what to click, but you're going to do a lot of dragging and dropping, which is what we're doing for step 2 all the way to the end, dragging and dropping. Step 2 is going to be this, to send the files to cloud storage. Now, for some people, you want to use Dropbox. For some people, you may want to use, I don't know, OneDrive, which is, I think, Microsoft's cloud. For this teaching, I'm doing Google Drive because that's the only one that I've done so far with this, and I don't want to be, playing an experiment with you guys with other forms. With other platforms. You're gonna find Google Drive or whatever you want to use, drag it, drop it. If you want to arrange it because you're like me and you like things to be proper and in place, you can just click it, hold it, drag it wherever you want. And then we're going to click complete setting. Now for me, it's going to already pop up to show that I have authenticated Jotform and Google Drive to communicate. With you, you're going to have to go in, if this is your first time, you're going to have to go in, you're going to have to put in your Google email address, and then you're going to have to put in your password and authenticate it that way. I've done that process already, so I just click authenticate. Now we're going to go to enter folder name. This is the folder. It's going to create a folder on your Google Drive. I'm just going to name mine delete later. You can name yours, of course, the name of your tax business. I've already done mine, the name of my tax business, and I don't want anything to get crossed up. So I'm just going to make a name like that. At any point, guys, this is a video. So at any point you can pause me if I'm going too fast. You want to pause me and do that step. that's fine. I just wanted you to know that. Also, I'm most likely going to upload this to YouTube. With YouTube, you can slow me down, and you can also speed me up if I'm going too slow for you, which I don't think I'm going too slow for anybody. But the next step in this, you're going to create a subfolder for each submission. You want to do that. Create a subfolder for each submission. Now, me personally, I get rid of this one. This is just a submission ID that it automatically generates for everybody. I get rid of that because that means nothing to me. It probably should, but it doesn't. And I'm going to go over here to form fields. As you can see, it populated all the form fields from my intake form. These will be different than yours. I'm sure all of you will have form ID, form title, submission ID, and probably submission date. But after that, it's going to be different based on your specific intake form. If you want a copy of my intake form, my template for my my Jotform intake, find a way to communicate with me. Hit me up. I don't know. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I hadn't decided if I'm gonna sell it or if I'm just gonna give it away. I'll seek counsel on that to see because you're getting this for free. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna click on primary's name because that's what's important, at least in my head. That's what's always important to me, is primary's name. And after that, it's going to ask you, do you want to send submissions PDF to Google Drive? I always just click the default because, of course, we want it to convert to a PDF when it stores everything in the Google Drive, and send uploaded fields to Google Drive. I go through and I click all of these. You're going to have to select them one by one because whatever they upload, you want to make sure that you have a copy of. This is just quite literally what's on my intake that says upload. So if they upload a 1098T, I want that 1098T in their Google Drive, So select all of those and you're going to click save. When you do that, everything that they have done, whether they've typed it or uploaded it, it'll automatically go to your Google Drive without you having to do absolutely anything. But how are you going to connect it? You have to tell Jotform what to do in what steps. So you see how I'm going around and I'm showing you, no matter where I go, that little line, it starts as a line and it goes into a dot, it pops up. You can find either one from anywhere. I'll just do a straight line. You're going to click it, hold it, and drag it over from your first step to your second step. From your previous step to the step that you're working on now, right? That lets Jotform know that once the intake form is done, the next thing is to do across the bridge over here to Google Drive. And Google Drive will do its thing as we've set it. You've just now done number 2. Easy peasy, right? So now we're going to go to number 3. Number 3, the goal is an automated email with next steps. Of course, as tax preparers, we know that people, especially if they're getting a refund, they want updates. They want communication. They want to know what now, what next, whatever. So we're going to go the workflow element that we need, email. I'm showing you this way now so that when we get down to a few steps later, I don't have to keep doing it this way because you'll have the hang of it by then. But I want you to see how easy I wanted to make this workbook for you. So the workflow element that you'll need is email. If it doesn't say integrations, that means it's under basic, right? Because up here, we had to click integrations and then Google Drive, If it doesn't say integrations, it's just going to be under basic. And we need email. Hold it, drag it, plop it over here. Now, it tells you can put it in there, but whatever. Now, this is going to be number 2. As you can see, it drew the line already because Jotform is just used to step 1 and then step 2 being right under it. But you're going to see as we proceed on, it's not going to keep drawing that line for you. That's why I did this one first so you can get accommodated with making the line yourself. So in here, we're going to say, let's just name it next steps email after intake, right? And then what we'll do to change this is all stuff that you're going to see on your end, you and your team. To change this email, to edit it, settings. You're going to go to settings, and you're going to have 3 tabs at the top. In the email setting, let's just, I'm not going to do this for all of them, guys. I just want to show you a very clear example. So back over here, if we're looking at the workbook, it shows you that an example is provided on page 13. Don't get dizzy, don't get confused. I'm about to scroll to page 13. Then we're going to come back up to page 7. So page 13 is the next steps email sample. So we're just going to do the subject line is you're in, here's what happens next. Now, when you come down here to edit the actual email, you see it's like every time it gives you this, and we don't need it. Like, why do I need this? So you're going to find this little white spot here. Not this big white spot, guys. No. There's a little white spot here, and you're going to click it. And when you see that little line blinking, you're going to click. I have a MacBook, so it's Command A. I think it, listen, I don't know what it is on Windows. I think it's like Control A, I believe it is. It's a shortcut to select all. And then you're just going to delete it out because we don't need that trash. What do we need that for? So if you want to upload your logo, you're going to say insert image. I'm not going to go through all of that right now. I'm just going to say logo, and I'm going to center align it as if it were done. Now, when you add your logo, you're going to want to make it smaller. Over here, I'm going to go to my Jotform, and I'm going to show you mine. You see this? So when I click it, let's see here. I have to select it and drag it to make it smaller if I want to. Because normally when I put it, it depends on the size of your logo. It may be gigantic. You just have to select it, and then you're going to see those dots pop up, and you're going to drag it to make it smaller. So now we're going to just come back over here, guys. Okay, so I just put logo there as a placeholder. We're going to go back to left align, and I made it so simple you can just copy and wait a second, what am I looking at? Okay, I got confused for just a second there. You can just copy and paste it. Okay, now I like to have everything aligned just because I'm kind of a, guess you could say, a neat freak like that. I don't know what you'll call it. Okay, now we're going to start at the top. Hi, client's name. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You want to make sure that the client's name, whoever is the person who did the intake form, that their name pops up. You're going to type out hi, and you're going to go over here to field forms. Yours, again, remember what I said earlier, the first few are going to look the same as mine, but after that, unless you're using my exact template for an intake form on Jotforms, yours will look different. You're just going to make sure you find wherever you have primary's name. Yours may say your name, yours may say client name, whatever. However it looks on the intake form, you're going to find that field where they have to type in their first and last name. Mine is primary's name, so I click that and it says name. Okay. As we scroll down, it just lets them know that we've received their intake form and their supporting documents. It thanks them, and then it tells them here's a quick snapshot of what's next. Now, the reason I do this is because, again, as tax preparers, we know our people like to know what is next. They don't, too much. They might be with you 30 years and they still want you to tell them what's next a lot of times. So I let them know review is in process. Then I let them know after all that checks out, they'll get a quote in the engagement. Not everyone does quotes. If you don't do quotes, then that's absolutely fine. I'm doing this for this example, but for this teaching. But if you don't do quotes, you'll just take that part out and you'll just go straight to the engagement letter. Maybe your next step is different, guys. Change this email. This is only a sample. Do it how you want to do it. And then it lets them know that after approval and sign, we'll prepare your return, blah, blah, blah. Here's what's important. need more document, if they need to upload more documents, use this secure link. Now, we're going to delete this out. It's a part of the sample to let you know that you have to do something there. But we're going to go there, and on my intake form, I have a spot that's called missing files. When I click on that, they'll be able to just literally go into this email, click that button, and it'll take them to an upload folder with, where they'll be able to add their missing files. If you want them to instead be able to edit, we're going to get there also. But if you want them to be able to edit, I'm going to do a line here so you can see the difference. You're going to come here to form fields. And this is the part where all of ours look the same within these first few options. First, I think about 5-6 options. You're going to click edit link, EDIT link. When they click on this link, it'll take them back to that intake form, and they'll be able to make whatever edits and whatever changes are necessary without having to bother you, without having to email edits to you, without having to email additional documents to you, right? Doesn't that make life so much easier? You don't have stuff all over the place. Everything is in one spot. The good thing is when they use either of these links, it's going to go straight into their folder on Google Drive, Dropbox, or whatever other storage platform you're using. Hey guys, so I'm watching the video, I'm editing it myself, and I got to this point and I wanted to make a correction. So I said that you can go in and do the missing files option and it would take them to that part of the intake. That is not accurate information. I do apologize. I'm so glad that I showed you how to put the edit link there, because that's what you're going to want to do. Don't do the missing files option. What that's going to tell Jotform is if they put anything in the missing files upload, it's going to show them what they put. It's going to put it in this email, and that's not what we want. We want them to be able to go in and add or make an edit. So disregard that first part that I just gave and only do the edit link part. I apologize if that's confusing to you. Hopefully I cleared that up and you won't have that issue going into the tax season. Now back to the video. Okay, reply to this email, we got you, and we're going to talk more into reply to this email in a second. You're going to put your company name here, or I always put something like the Crestview team, and then your motto or slogan if you have one. Reply to this email, we got you. Let's make sure that they can reply to this email and get us. So let's go over here to recipients. You're going to always change sender name to your tax business name. You're going to take our job because we want our branding is important. So when we send out an email, we want it to be under our name. The reply email, we'll be able to put in whatever reply email we want here, so that when they reply to this email that they received, it'll go to that email address. You'll do that there. And you're going to use the recipient's email address. Is going to be on my intake form. I have a field called preferred email where they will type in the best email address to reach them. If you want to change that on the free plan, you can only have one here. So I'm going to, clear that out. And then we're going to go to fields here with a plus sign, and you'll be able to find, it'll automatically show you only the fields on your intake form that collect an email address. So I'm just going to put mine back because that's what I wanted. And then let's go to advanced. I always go to advanced just to take a quick look, just to make sure everything looks fine. Nothing looks out of control. We're not sending any attachments. That's not even necessary. We're not hiding any, doing anything. This is hide empty fields. We deleted all those fields out, so that's not necessary. Remember, we deleted their email address. I'm sorry, their email that was there earlier. We deleted that out, so this is irrelevant. I just leave it alone. And then the sender email. This will not send from your email. That's why we had to change the name. It will not send from your email address. It's going to send from noreply.jotform.com, or you can have it sent from noreply@formresponse.com. whichever is your choosing. That's what it's going to send from. But remember, it will say your name. And there, when they reply, it'll be replied to this. Now we're going to click save. That was a longer step because it took a little bit more explaining. But when we do future emails, I'm not going to walk through the whole thing, guys. I just wanted you to see how to do that unless something comes up where I feel like I need to explain it more deeply. Now let's go back up to page 7. We are done with step 3. Step 4. Step 4. We are going to do an internal notification. It's going to be to reach out to client. So, workforce element, we're finding task, dragging and dropping it. I just like all my stuff lined up. That's just how I am. You don't have to have yours lined up. That's me. We're going to find the dot and we're going to drag it down. You see it didn't do it automatically for us. It says 2 problems here and it has the number 2 errors. We're going to ignore it and we're going to see if what we do will fix it. It will, by the way. So we're going to click complete settings as we always do. And we're going to name this. I'm just going to name it. Why am I in all caps still? I'm just going to name it reach out to client. You can name it however you want with the description, intake received, email sent, time to reach out. This is something that you're going to do and it's just going to be internal. So the assignee is whoever on your team, whether it's you or you have someone else who is actually over reaching out to the client. Here, I'm just going to put my name, Reggie. It's going to pop up there. And that's all on this page. We're going to leave this as complete. That's the only thing we need for the outcome. We'll get more into that when we have to change it later. But for this one, it's good. Let's go to advanced. And I don't do an expiration date, but I do reminder emails just in case. So, I'll just, for this, you can do whatever you want to do, guys. But for this, I'm just going to say remind after 1 day. You can change it 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, one day. I think I didn't say that. Or 5, whatever you want to do. Okay. So that's that on that. Now this still says we have 1 error, but we're going to continue to step 5 because step 5 will get rid of that 1 error. Let's go back to add element. Have you noticed yet that this disappears on you sometimes? You're just going to add element to pop it back up. And we're going to go down and we're going to find approval because we're on step 5. Approval. Drag it. If you're like me, you're going to align it. And let's go ahead in by clicking on settings. Now, as you can see, the outcomes here are approve, deny, approve, deny. So I change approve and deny to approve. I say good as is. Deny, I say missing info. And that's going to make more sense as we go on. Approvers, me, of course, because, hello. And that is all we're going to do on this one. But we're going to go over to advanced and we're going to say require comments. I'm going to explain why in just a moment. And that's all that we're going to do here. You can do reminder emails if you want. Any of this that you want to do, is your world. We're just in it. But that's how we're doing that. Now we're going to drag and drop. Now, whoa. We went from 1 problem to 2. So we're going to click select outcome and we're going to say complete. What does that mean? That means we've reached out to the client. And for some of you, this will just be look over intake form. That's what this will be called for some of you instead of reach out to client. Because the thing is, you've looked over the intake form and everything looks good. You don't, or everything does not look good. But this is just to say you completed looking at the intake form and or reaching out to the client. So now I have a problem here. What's this approval mess we're talking about? Let's go back over here and we're going to scroll down to email. Now we're going to do 2 emails. I'm just going to let you know now. So we're going to just do, I'm going to pull this down twice. If you're following along, you could just pull it down twice. Move that kind of over here. Move that kind of over there. Now let's start with this top one. Where are we going? We're going to step 6. You're going to click on this. We're going to say more info needed. This is to let you know what it is, okay? So you're going to click on settings. And when you click on settings, same thing. As you can see, there's an example on page 14. You're going to put your subject here. You're going to click over here on the side. When you see that black dot, select all and get rid of it. You can put your logo if you like. And then you're going to let them know, hey, missing info. Now, I'm just putting that again. There's the whole email typed in on page 14. What's important here is that you need to know this important step, right? Remember when I told you before, you have to make sure that you click on add comments. I literally just said it 30 seconds ago. I bet you still remember. You gotta still remember. You have to add comments because when that person, you or whoever it is that you're working with, who's on your team that's gonna do that step, what they're gonna do is when they say, oh my goodness, I see that they uploaded everything except for, you know, they didn't upload expenses for their business and they said they had a business, or they mentioned in the comments, you know, I have 3 W-2s, but they only uploaded 2. Or maybe their ID is expired and you need an up-to-date ID. Whatever it is, you're gonna explain it in those comments. It's gonna send to your email and it's gonna tell you to comment on it. You're gonna go over here. We're still in the needs more information email. You're gonna click approval fields and you're gonna click approval comment. And it's gonna populate whatever you said that they needed, whatever you typed out, exactly how you typed it out, it's gonna put it here. I'm not gonna copy and paste, but let's go to page 14 so you can see how that looks. Page 14, as you can see here, it says, here's what we need. Up here, hi, I already told you how to put the client's name. Thanks for submitting your info. We took a look and noticed some things, and we noticed we're still missing something important. Here's what we need. Whatever you typed out, Jotform is gonna plop it inside of this email. I already showed you how to add the missing files link. So you're gonna make sure that you have that here where it says, please upload the requested items using this secure link. You're gonna make sure you have that link there. I already showed you how to do that a couple steps ago. So when they see this email, they'll already know what you typed out and said that they need. Now, I think we were on page 8. Yes. Okay. Then when you save, I want you to get into the habit of going to recipients, because see how Jotform put that back? You know, they put their name back there. You're going to put your name. Gosh darn it. And then they already have the preferred email addresses who it's going to get sent to. They still populated over my email address. So, you know, yours should populate over. And we're going to go to advanced just because I make it a habit to just glance at this, although it's not really important. I just want to make sure nothing toggled on or off by accident. And we're going to click save. Now, that's cute, but we have to connect the dots, right? Drag it, drop it over from the previous step to the current step. Select outcome. Why? Because this is an approval. Remember inside of here, good as is or missing info. Those are the outcomes. This is the email saying bad, we need more. So you're going to select outcome and you're going to say missing info. Now we're going to go over here to this email. We're going to go inside of it. First of all, let's just name it approved. We're going to go inside of it through settings. And then we're gonna say ready to proceed. I just noticed, guys, that I did step 6 first instead of step 5 first. My apologies. I hope I didn't, I'm sorry, I'm lying. We did step 5. That was step 6. Now we're doing step 7. Wow, you would think I didn't write this thing myself. Now we're doing step 7. So that is, we're good to go. It's just what I'm gonna name it for the sake of this. You already know how to do your email. And it's just gonna let them know, hey, we have everything we need, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna drag it from the previous step to the current step. Select outcome, good as is. So what's gonna happen is when your client or potential client does their intake form, by now, all of their details are gonna go to your Google Drive. Also, they're gonna get an email that says you're in, here's what happens next. You're gonna get an email literally at the very same time with a task that says reach out to client or check intake, which is what some of yours will say, depending on what you worded. Once you complete that, you're gonna in your email let Jotform know complete. You're gonna click the button. It's gonna send you an approval email. That approval email is gonna have good as is or missing info. If you say good as is, they're gonna get the you're good to go email. If you say that info is missing and you put in those notes, they're gonna get the email with those notes to let them know what is needed, right? Now the thing is, it doesn't stop there. Here we have to make sure after that we do, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's make sure we just follow the rule book because that's what you're gonna be following. So let's scroll down to number 8. Would be the second approval. Are all the documents now in place? You're going to go back to add element and you're going to click and drag approval. You're going to drag this one under the denial email or the missing info email because that's what's going to be important here. We're going to click the gear, go to settings, and we're going to take out deny because we believe by faith that everybody's going to see exactly what it is that they're missing according to your email, and they are going to send you everything that you need. So there's no such thing as deny, right? The only thing that they can do is do right. So settings, we don't have to say require comments or anything. Everything is fine. If you want to do your reminder email, I've already walked you through all of that. So we're good to go here as long as the approver is whoever you want it to be here. Okay, so now we're gonna drag from the missing info email down to that approval. Here's the thing. These two are essentially the same, except for this one has 2 options. This one only has 1. So that means you have to get your missing info people back on track. So we're going to click this and we're going to say duplicate. And we're going to drag it down here. Why? Because at some point, the ones who are missing info will become good as is. So that's one thing that I didn't do. I should have changed approved to good as is. Now we're going to drag from here to down here. Bam. And then select outcome, good as is. Because again, they went from missing information to now they're thumbs up. They're good to go. And you can see that here, just duplicate it. It saves a whole lot of time. So now we're going to merge both paths. We're still on step 8. We're going to merge both paths. So after both approval branches, the first time one's over here, and the denial fix. These are the denial fix people over here. After they're approved, you're gonna merge them into a single outcome. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna click add element. And according to this, we're going to set the merge condition. So you're gonna come down here and we're gonna find merge branches. You're gonna drag it. I like to drag it somewhere in here, kind of in the middle. You're going to click on the setting and you're going to set it to wait for all branches to be completed. I'm sorry, wait for any branch, as it says here with the underline any. I should have been paying more attention to myself. Wait for any branch to be completed. So that means whether they come from this way or this way, we are back on track. Of course, drag from here to there, drag from here to there. See how we have a little box here? It's what you should see, a little box. And all things lead to here. I explain here why this matters and everything, but we want to keep everybody on the same path so that as we continue to build, we're still just building one thing. Because you see up here, we went 2 different routes. This makes sure that we are back on the same route. We're merged onto the same highway. So now we're going to go down here and we're going to go, I see a typo here. I'm going to get this changed before I send it out to you guys. Here it says starting point form submission. That's not so. We're going to create a task. My apologies for that. And if we're being honest, I just don't feel like editing that out and making it look perfect. It was a mistake, guys. It's okay. So we're going to edit a task and we're going to click complete settings. And we're going to say something on the lines of what's the quote approved. Again, this is for our people who give quotes. What's the quote approved? The outcome, we're going to change complete to yes. And we're going to add another outcome that says no. Assignee is whoever handled the quote if quotes were done. Advanced, we don't have to set anything over here unless you want to do reminders. But the email is, they're going to get emailed that question. Was the quote approved? We're going to drag from any, because that's where we join back on the highway, down to where we are now. Okay. So this is going to be internal, just an email for you. And we're going to do 2 options here. If the quote was not approved, if your potential client said, you know what, homegirl, homeboy, just stop right there. I'm not going to continue. We know how they do, especially those who be shopping around for who can get them the best refund amount. And you doing it the legitimate way, and they know somebody that's going to put a baby on their taxes and probably going to get them locked up. If they tell you no, everything ends right there. So we're going to go over here, of course, basic. At the very bottom, we're going to drag and drop end, because all things are ending there, right? We have no reason to continue with anything. So that means no, it ends. And you see it got rid of the error message. So what if they say yes? Yes, it's going to proceed to the contract. So that means we're just going to continue to step 10. So for step 10, we're going to do sign document down here. Sign document, we're going to drag and drop. The very good thing about Jotform is that you can upload your engagement letter and they can look at it, read it, and sign it right in Jotform. Right inside. So you don't need to incorporate DocuSign, DigiSigner. Even sometimes people use the Adobe app. You don't have to incorporate all of that. You can do it right here in Jotform. You're going to drag it down. And what is that outcome? That's going to be for our yes people. People who said yes, continue with this. They're then going to get the engagement letter. Now, I'm just going to, oh, there it is right there. I thought I was going to have to like mix something up. When you click engagement letter, it's going to automatically let you know you have one signer. You're going to click this little button down here. It's kind of hard to see if you're not paying attention. It's a little blue link button. And it's going to be the primary's name according to my engagement letter. Your engagement letter may be different, but primary's name is the title on my engagement letter. And then you're going to go over here. You're going to click inside of the email. Same little link is going to pop up. Preferred email address. Save. That's going to automatically send your engagement letter to the client after they say, you know what, we're good, we've communicated, I want you to go ahead and fulfill my tax return. Let's continue on to step 11. Step 11 is the final approval check before transmitting. We're almost there, guys. We are almost there. Good job if you've stayed with me. Drag and drop approval, because as you can see, I put up there the element that we need is approval. I think that's a line. I ain't OCD, but I like my stuff lined up. So we're gonna just rename this final approval just for my sake. Then we're gonna go to the gear shift. We're gonna go to settings, and what this is literally just the final all clear stage before closing out the whole thing. So this is just the approver is gonna be me or whoever's on your tax team, and then we can do approval or deny. If we've gotten this far, there's a great chance that there is no denial because the document is already signed. The only way it would be denied, if we're being honest, is if they signed the document and it say Donald Duck or something like that. So if they signed it, you looked at the signature and the signature is good, which it most likely will be, you're just gonna approve it. So we don't need that extra. And then of course, as usual, drag down, selected outcome, signed. That's why that was there. You just had to make sure that it was signed, okay? Now, if you want to, you can do another, this isn't in the workbook, but you can do another end, drag it over if they get cold feet and they declined or canceled. So declined can be one, canceled can be the other. Now, if you want to get, fancy and all of that, you can decide to do, instead of ending it, you can have an email automatically set up to say, hey, I noticed that you declined to sign. I'd like to know why. Did something happen? You can replace end with an email. If they canceled it, hi, I noticed that you canceled. You were starting to sign, but you canceled. Is there anything that I can help you with? Instead of just ending it. If you want to, it's your world. I'm just trying to help you navigate it. So now we're going to go back over here to this final approval. And the final approval is just that you've seen that they've signed it and we're good. After you see that they signed it and they didn't put Donald Duck, we're going to send them a thank you email. Drag and drop your thank you email. All right. Your thank you, let me just type that in here. Thank you email. You're going to go over here to settings. I've already taught you how to do all of this. You know how to handle this by now. Put your subject, clear all this out, your logo, because we're big on branding, guys. We want them to recognize your logo. So you're going to put it there. And remember, that's here. The example for this email is on page 16. Recipients, remember, put your name up there. Don't you let Jotform go out and say that it's from Jotform. And all of that is good. Drag it, drop it. What is the outcome? The outcome is approved because you've looked at it and they didn't sign on the duck. Now we're going to go to step 13. They've already gotten their thank you, and the thank you is just a thank you for signing the engagement letter. I know that you're probably thinking, man, this is so many steps. This is so many emails to send out. Your client likes to be communicated with. They don't like to be left in the dark. They like to know that you've received everything. So this even saves you from having to type out, hey, I received it, thanks. This saves you that step. So that's why we're setting this up like this for so many, quote unquote, so many emails, so that your client, you're still providing good customer service to your client without having to actually do the work of trying to provide that good customer service to the client. So now we're on step 13. Step 13 is optional. And all of this is optional. You don't even have to be here right now, guys. But step 13 is optional. But I wanted to do it just because I like the fact of sending out a survey. You want to get people's input. You want to get people's surveys so that you can use it in your advertising, use it in your marketing, and to just know how to improve what you're doing well and what you need to change. So for me, I don't like for the survey to go out at the same time as the email that says thank you for doing whatever. If you want it to do that, you're just gonna drag and drop it right under. If you want both of those emails to go out at the same time, the thank you email and the survey email. If you're like me and you don't really like that, you want there to be a little delay in there, a little bumper time, you won't put it directly under. In between here, you're gonna create a task. So you're gonna go to task, remember, it's up here, task. You're gonna click it over. I want it spaced out a little bit more. And this task is just, let's just say, delay reminder. The thing about Jotform, unfortunately, Jotform doesn't allow you with the workflow to put in send this 5 days later, like some other platforms may. You will have to do this as a workaround. So we're gonna say complete setting. We're gonna say send now will be the outcome, just making up something right now. You're gonna do your assignee. And over here, we're gonna say send email, send reminder email. I don't know why, but I just like 5 days. So 5 days later. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna get this email first, but then when the reminder email, so we're gonna say, I shouldn't have clicked without telling you what I'm doing. So we're gonna say reminder email, we're gonna customize it. And we're going to say, clear that out. Now it's time, now it's time to approve so the survey can send out. And we're gonna go here to form fields. We're gonna go to primary's name. Now, why did all that pop up? Why did all that? Technology likes to show out. Now it's time to approve to send survey email to. Jeez, Lord. You know what I'm not gonna let it do? I'm not gonna let it make me mad. Because yours is gonna do right. I believe yours is gonna do right. Mine, they be trying to piss me off sometimes, and I don't be letting it happen. And I ain't finna let it happen today. So what you're gonna do, wow, that's something, isn't it? Let me just go out, guys. Give me 1 second. Because I don't like to be defeated. Let me go back in. Especially, I got company. Y'all watching. Jotform is tripping today. Hey guys, Reggie from the future again here. So I just realized that kept popping up because this is pretty much how the email has to send out to you. This reminder email, as you can see, you'll see if you scroll back, you'll see that it has the buttons there for view task and another one for go to inbox. You have to click view task in order to approve that task in order for the survey email to go out. So that's why it just dawned on me. That's why it kept popping up. And so yours will do that too if you try to delete it. So just leave it as is and, don't let it upset you. Back to the video. Okay, but you see what I was trying to do? This will be sent to you or to whoever is the assignee. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. It don't have to be long or drawn out. It's just something to jog your memory to say, hey, don't forget, this is a reminder email, And it even says it up here, reminder. You're going to send it to you. It doesn't matter who it sends from. If it says Jotform, it's going to you. So that's fine. And it's going to send that to you in 5 days. When you click send now, it's going to send it. That's just my workaround to have a little delay in there. Okay. So previous step, current step, drag it down. Previous step, which is now delayed reminder, current step, which is the survey email, select the outcome, send now. And it's that easy. They tried to make it look like it was difficult, but it's not that difficult, guys. I promise you. So you already know, I don't have to go over it. You already know how to edit that email to do the thank you email. I don't think I have a sample of that one over here. I'm sorry, that's not the thank you email. Oh my goodness. That's the survey email, guys. That's the survey email. It's going to send them the survey link. What you can do just to make life a little bit easier for you, you can go over here, and after you type out the email, blah, 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 can you do the survey? You're going to go down and you're going to link your, you can do the survey right in Jotform. You're going to put the link right in here, copy and paste it down there. And that's just the easiest way for that to get done for you. Okay. So now we've done step 13. Step 14 is the IRS approval. And we know the IRS approves when they want to, but we have to let the client know. So we're going to go back to elements. We're going to go to email and drag it over. And we're going to do an email. I have an example on page 17 that lets them know, hey, thumbs up, the IRS has accepted your approval. I'm going to show you mine for that, just so you'll have some ideas of what to put in that particular email. But let me just finish here. So this is the IRS approval email. We're going to drag it down a bit. One thing that I forgot to do, we're going to drag it down more, because we have to do approval first. Because we don't want the survey email to go out and they immediately get the IRS approval email. See, that's why it pays to follow this, because I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. But when you follow this and the video, makes it make a lot more sense, guys. So you're going to drag down. Once they get the survey email, you will get an email that says approval. So I'm just gonna, just for fun, say IRS approved yet. Yes, that's the only thing we need to know. It's a good yes. We don't need a denial option. Once they approve, now if the IRS denies it, then you just have to reach out to them. You can't really send it in email, you know. You need to reach out to them anyway. But once the IRS approves it and it says, you'll get the email, you go back to the email and you'll just click yes, the IRS has approved. When you do that, then they'll receive the IRS approval email. Okay, my IRS approval email is here. The subject line, your tax return has been accepted. Here's what to expect next. My logo, of course, because we're big on branding, remember. Hi, I make sure that their name is in here. Great news, your tax year. It's important that you put their tax year there. How do you automatically populate their tax year from their intake form? Very simple. Same thing. You go to form fields here, and you're going to click tax year or whatever yours says where they selected the tax year that they need you to do form. So your 2025 will say tax return is what's going to pop up there. Tax return has officially been accepted by the IRS. This means it tells what that means. Now here's the important part, guys. What happens next? Gosh darn it, because don't call my phone. What? I'm kidding, guys. What happens next? It gives very clear instructions and expectations to the client of what happens. If they're expecting a refund, how, the timeline, because everybody wants to know, well, when is the money gonna hit my account? Here's the timeline. Most are issued within 21 days, but processing times may vary. Blah, blah, blah. It goes into detail about that. How to check, because you know how they be calling your phone, asking you if you got an update. Right here in the email. Now, will this email stop them from calling you? Probably not. 20% of them still gonna call you, but that strong 80, it's gonna say, let me go back to my email. You're gonna put the link in here. I just copied and pasted it from the IRS website. The where's my refund link. I even let them know what they'll need when they go to the website. We don't want them to have any surprises. I did put in here, if you cannot remember your filing size, blah, 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 it can be found here, and I'll have a link there for them to be able to find that information on their own. Okay. If you want to do a little bit more, you can send out a manual email with their filing status and their expected refund amount. That'll be thoughtful of you to keep them out of your hair, hopefully. Number 3, I let them know what to do if they owe taxes instead, because our job is not to get people a refund. Our job is to prepare taxes. So some people will owe. This is the information with the link as far as how they can make their payments or set up a payment arrangement online. Okay, so there you know how to do that. State refunds, to know every state is different. It just gives them a briefing on how to find out about their state refund themselves. Most people, I ain't gotta tell you, most people don't really be caring about their state refund. But that's that. Also, I put at the bottom, we're here if you truly need us, but please know we don't get any insider details from the IRS or state agencies. My suggestion would be to put in some kind of wording. If you don't use that, some kind of wording, let them know, hey, we don't know no more than you. What you go to up here for all this stuff, that's the same thing we go to. We don't know any more than you at this point. So there's that on that. That's my sample final email to them. Now let's go back to our workflow that we just built out. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, and once they receive that email, everything should be done. So we should be able to end it so that they're not just floating out there. We should be able to end it after they receive that email. Doesn't mean that the relationship is ended. It just means that this workflow is ended. We've done our job. We just went from the intake form completion all the way down to the IRS approving the email. And we have a full-blown, fully worked out. This is what we just did, guys. And you see, it wasn't as hard as it looks. We just did, because you saw it. You saw it had nothing but that. And we just built all of that, 14 steps. So this ebook is free. I'm not charging you guys. It has all of the sample emails in here. These are not my exact emails. I wanted to make them different from mine, but they do have this the same flow of mine. I would suggest, though, that you do make some edits to make these sound more like you and more like your brand. These are just some tweaks if you want them. I'm not going to go into all of that, and some pro tips. So if you want this, find the link in the caption, in the email if you got this via email. Or if you saw this, it's in the caption, figure out where it is. It's going to take you here, and you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Here is what you're looking for: name, email, phone number. Send me my free blueprint. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you your free blueprint, okay? So that you can have this, always come back to this video. I do plan on keeping it up. So you can always come back to it. Go through it again, send this to your preparers, send this to your whoever's under you, your team. You can send this to them so that they can do their own, because again, unfortunately, there's not a way to my knowledge, of completing this, making it a template and just sharing it that way. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit lengthy, but hope you got out of it everything that you need. Have a great tax season in the upcoming year, or if you're in the midst watching, have a great tax season whenever you watch this, now or in the future. Bye.